everybody. I'm Rexanna with Garden of Herbs, and we are entering the cold and flu season. Some people don't like to hear that, but however, this is the time of year when a lot of people do tend to get sick. And when I say that, if you have a child or a loved one that goes to work, this just happens to be the time of year when a lot of illnesses, whether it be work related or kids are just going back to school, or it's just this time of year, a lot of people seem to come down with getting sick, whether it be the flu bug or colds and viruses. I just happen to be grandmother, and I have experienced a lot of times getting a call from a school nurse, or people just walk through the door in the middle of the day and they say, I'm not feeling well, and I'm usually the one ends up taking care of my family. So anyway, I thought I would do this. I'm an herbalist now, but for many years I've practiced natural ways of taking care of people. I've also had to go to the doctor. So I thought I would do this video to help some mothers out there that are home with their kids, or they may not be home with their kids. They may get the same call. I was listening to a lady the other day who had no idea how to take care of her husband, and she just pretty much let him be on his own. And I thought, well, I'm going to do this video because I know a lot of times people just let it run their course, and I respect that, but I thought this really needed to be a good time, because for many years I just, with my own knowledge, did this, and you pick up things throughout the years and then you put it into practice for your family. And I'm just going to share what I've done over the years. And so without further ado, I'll just share what I've been taught. And I'm going to share right off the bat this book. And this is a great book. It's called Prescription for Nutritional Healing. Now this is the 5th edition. I understand they have a 7th edition out now. And I paid $30, and I understand you can get it on Amazon for about $15 or $18. It depends on if it's a used edition or not. And I'm going to get a little bit closer and let somebody write it down. But this book is very thick, and it covers all kinds of sicknesses and illnesses. I'm going to give just a short testimony. I had gone, this is several years back, I had gone to the doctor several times in 1 year. That's the reason I bought this the reason I bought this book. I went to had some lung infections. I used to have asthma. I know I don't have asthma anymore, but I went in there and I had an infection, and the infection, they give me antibiotics, and the antibiotics lead to, for women, the side effect leads to urinary tract infection, and the urinary tract infection, I had to go back, and it would cause me to be sick at my stomach. And so my follow-up visit, she would tell me I could write you a prescription, but just take some applesauce and then put some ground up ginger with it. And so finally, after a whole year of this repeat process, she told me, she said, I want you to buy this book, because she was trying to save me money because I didn't have insurance. I would get paid, have to go to the doctor, get paid, and go to the doctor. So she was a nurse practitioner instead of the doctor, and they were saving me money at the doctor's office. But what happened is I went and bought this book. And in this book, like if you look up asthma, on one side of this, you'll see what herbs to take and what food to eat, what food to eliminate. And it just opened up my eyes. And because I am such a person who seek after knowledge, how to help myself, I was seeing what, because of my condition, I was seeing I should take all these herbs and how I should eliminate all this food. And I thought to myself, wow, you know. So this is a great book for any mother or for any father or for any family that has like a child that has asthma or an adult that has asthma, and you're running back and forth to the doctor. Because if you have, like if you are like me and you have lung conditions, because when you have asthma you have lots of other lung conditions, problems, respiratory problems. I was having bronchitis, I was having this and that and the other, and so I was being treated several times a year. And so this is before I became an herbalist and before I knew what to do. And I found out, I went through this book. Every night I sat down and read this book. Of course, I found out there was lots of other things to do and not to do, but we won't go into that for the sake of this video. But if you'll get this book, you'll learn that you'll quit having to run back and forth to the doctor. And one thing to keep on hand, to stock up, go to your grocery store, like when you get paid, and buy peppermint tea. Because if you think, well, somebody who's going to get sick first, well, get you some peppermint tea and get you some echinacea tea. Echinacea and peppermint tea were a staple inside my pantry all the time. And you don't have to be an herbalist to know this. Echinacea tea is a natural antibiotic, and if you look through this book, you'll see echinacea repeated in almost every chapter in the herbs. Echinacea helps with your immune system, and if you have a urinary tract infection, you drink echinacea. You can even buy this at the health food store in capsules, and it's just great for your immune system. It's good for your kids. It's good for anybody in the household. It's great if you have a cold, just drink echinacea tea. If you need the capsules, like I've taken the capsules numerous times because you can't drink tea all the time when you're at work. Peppermint tea is great for bringing down a fever. If you have a kid that's sick and has a stomach ache, make them some ginger tea. This is great after dinner if you're not feeling well and if you don't really want a lot on your stomach. And if you come down sick and you can't really get up and fix a meal, always buy extra cans of soup. I always, you know, I love to make homemade stuff. I love to can, but sometimes it's just good to make, and I'm doing it this way because I don't want to advertise the brand. But if nobody likes chicken, buy beef. If everybody wants chicken, buy chicken. But buy what your family loves. And I even have the pop top here because I want to make it as quick and easy as possible. And I want everybody to go in and make their own if I'm sick. And I always get canned fruit too. Of course, I get it packed in water because I don't want everybody to have the syrup. But those are a few things that are quick and easy that everybody can serve theirself. And I train everybody in my family to take care of theirself as much as possible when I'm sick. And I have like a little training session. If I come down sick, this is what you're going to have to do for yourself. And I even tell them how to feed the dog and so forth and so on. So that's really important. Another thing to have these days, it's very important to buy a pulse oximeter reader. And it's really important these days because there's some things that you have to know. If you see somebody in your family that's laying around and they're not really communicating very much with you. If they're tired, if they say, I'm tired, I don't feel good, I just want to be left alone, just respect that, but at the same time, just say, hey, I just want to check your pulse ox. You know, I just want to make sure you're doing okay. And you can slip this on their finger. And like right now, I'm at 98, which 98 is normal. You know, there's some people out there, and if they have a good heart rate, figure out what a good heart rate is. Sometimes if they're just laying down and they're not moving around very much, it may be kind of low. If they're up moving around, it may be kind of fast. But some people get all bent out of shape, and they say, well, you know, it has to be at 100. It doesn't have to be at 100. And I want to make sure I turn that off. Yeah. Keep it in a nice place, out of the reach of children. And 98 is really high. I know that a lot of people think that it has to be at 100. That's not true. Anything 95 is even very good. 95 is great. A lot of people think it has to be really, really high. Anything over 90 is good. It's really great, actually. I'm going to get a drink of water. Another thing that you want to do is you want to get a good thermometer. And that is because, you know, I was trained for many years as a certified nurse's aide. And so I knew how to take temperatures, I know how to take a full set of vitals, I know how to take your blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. But just, it's very basic to learn how to, and they have these infrared forehead thermometers, which has the LCD. That's about the easiest way you can go to take somebody's temperature. To read the instructions on here is very easy. And I used to have to do the rectal thermometers, the under the tongue, the old mercury. So this one right here is pretty easy. I mean, it's about the easiest kind that you have. You just hold it right here, it clicks, and you're done. So if you can get this, plus it's got the batteries which can be replaced. And I bought this for, I think, $10 on Amazon. And it was made in the United States. So I think everybody ought to have one of these and know what your normal temperature is. These two, for nowadays, is really a must for every household. And if you have more than a couple of people in your house, more than 5 or 6 people, you need to have a couple of thermometers and more than one of these. I mean, more than 5 or 6 people, that's okay to have one of each. If you have more than those, a couple of, like more than 6 people in your house, you may need to get 2 thermometers. But anyway, the reason that I'm big on teas, and you need to drink plenty of water when you're sick, is to stay hydrated and to keep your fever down. And if you have a high fever of over 103, you need to take a bath every day. Put vinegar water in it. It helps the body. You know, I'm kind of old school, putting just like about a cup of vinegar or baking soda in there. You know, mullein is a great, if you have a respiratory, if you have access to mullein is great for taking care of respiratory. I learned that later on, but I did not learn that until later. Peppermint is another one. If you have, I've already talked about peppermint. If you have if you're having a hard time sleeping, get you some sleepy teas. Sometimes they do have like chamomile and lavender at the grocery store. That's great. It's a sedative. It's great for helping you sleep. I've already talked about echinacea, but the main thing that I wanted to talk about is also to just stay prepared, stay calm, get you a list of phone numbers of friends that you trust really well. If you have to get, you know, if you can't get out of your house and you have to have somebody to go to the grocery store for you. I've had to call somebody. I've had to call my doctor, and I've had to ask him for a couple of questions before, and have that list in your phone, or just have it by on your refrigerator. Be prepared, because I see so many people nowadays, they said, well, you know, my husband or my wife, or I thought so-and-so would help me, or this, that, and the other. They just really aren't prepared. They think, you know, that they can, and lozengers. Have some zinc lozengers. Zinc lozengers kill the pain in your throat. And have some sort of rub that you can rub on your lips that's not going to be like drying eucalyptus. I don't want to say Vicks, because I don't like Vicks, because it has petroleum in it. I hate Vicks, but I should have added that in my salves. I'm going to do another video for homemade things and how easy it is to do homemade things. But this is something that I just wanted it to be like where you can buy some of this stuff and have it stocked in your pantry, but you can move away from buying stuff at the store. This is stuff I still buy for my family that you can buy at the store and have it stocked in your pantry for your family to use. But I make a lot of homemade stuff. Like, I have herbs because I'm an herbalist, and I make my salves because I did away with all the Vicks, and I'm trying to get off of all the over-the-counter drugs like acetaminophen and Tylenol, because it's so toxic to our body. But this is just something that I wanted to get on here and do. This book even has stuff that you can to help with shingles and blood pressure. That's why I highly recommend this book, because shingles is it affects 10 out of 100 people, and blood pressure, it helps people to lower their blood pressure, like foods to avoid, foods to eat, different things like that. I mean, I know this video is now over 15 minutes, and people's attention span seems to kind of go like, oh, she's talking too long. So anyway, but I could talk a long time about this stuff, and I do try to help people when I do consultations with them. And I checked this book out because after going to school and finding out what I did learn about blood pressure and asthma, there is a lot of good stuff in here. And I'm not a nutritionist, I'm an herbalist. And I do tell people to consult with their doctor, because a lot of times when people come to me, they're on blood pressure medication. So I have to be very careful. And sometimes it's a back and forth situation when they do have to check with their doctor. And herbs do work very well with people that are on blood pressure. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and try to wrap up this video. But like I said, my disclaimer is I'm not a doctor. I'm an herbalist. But this is for educational purposes only. And this is just to help somebody out, to have some of these items in your pantry. Nobody may get sick. Let's pray that nobody does get sick. And another good thing to really do that you can have if somebody does come down sick, we always do this in my household, this is just a mere suggestion, is to pray. Pray over your family member. Pray over your loved ones. Pray over your family, your friends. I always pray, and it makes an incredible difference, and it's very comforting to that person to know that somebody's praying for them. And a lot of times, you know, you can do all of this, and without the prayer, sometimes, you know, it's a great comfort, and it just means a lot to that person to know that you're praying for them. Okay, that's all for now. I hope you have a blessed day. And again, I'm going to do another video more in detail about herbs and herbal preparations that you could do for this time of year. Okay, y'all have a great day. That's all for now. This is Rexanna. with Garden of Herbs. Bye-bye.